What's good, R&B Squad? This is Autumn Ruth. I trust that this message meets you guys in good spirits. If you are new here, welcome. We're happy to have you. And Jesus is, of course, always happier. So I have two messages today. They may be for the same groups of people or they may be for different groups of people, but there are two very different messages. Okay, so I'm going to get right into the first one. Both messages came from a dream that I had. So in the first dream, I saw three girls, and these were very young girls, okay? So if you have a daughter or a son of this age, and you have been a little bit concerned about your daughter or your son, this may be for you, okay? So your daughter or your son may be at the age where he or she is exploring the possibility of being attracted to the opposite sex. And that might be one of the things that you're worried about. If that's you, listen to this. So the three young ladies were accompanied by a young man. These young people look like they could be no more than 13 or younger. They could be anywhere between 11 and 13. So I'm talking tweens and early teens, all right? Now the young man, what I noticed about him was that he seemed to be very popular. He seemed to be well liked among the girls his age. And now 2 out of 3 of these girls were trying really hard to impress this young man. And one of them took it into her head that she was going to plunge off of this place that looked like a cliff to impress him. And I remember the other one who also was interested in him and trying to get his attention. She was sitting there thinking, and for those of you who are new, I've said this before, but usually God allows me to know what people are thinking and feeling in these dreams, okay? So the other little girl, she looks at the one who's about to plunge off the cliff in an attempt to impress this young man. And she's thinking, I'm not even gonna, that's too much. I'm not doing all that. And she can have him because I'm not doing all that. And that was the end of that dream. So let me break that down for whomever this is for. As I mentioned earlier, you may have a daughter or a son of either preteen years or teenage years, early teenage years. And you may have been recently concerned about your daughter or your son because he or she may be currently showing interest in the opposite sex. All of a sudden, there's conversation in your home about the opposite sex, okay? Now, for some of you, you have the son, the boy who's surrounded by all of these young women. For some of you, you have the daughter who was going to plunge off the cliff. And for others of you, you have the daughter who was watching on and who was interested in this boy, but wasn't willing to do anything foolish to get his attention, okay? So for the person who has the daughter who wasn't willing to do anything foolish, you have placed some good values in your child. So you don't need to worry about her. Okay? If you have a son and that's your son in that situation, you don't need to worry about him. Because at the end of the day, the values that you've instilled in him or in her, this child knows that there's certain things that they're just not going to do in a bid to be popular or to get attention from anyone. They know it's not worth it. Okay? Now, for the person who has the daughter or son the daughter who was looking to plunge off the cliff to impress that boy, please have a conversation with your daughter or with your son. Sit this person down, this young person down, and let that baby know that if you have to do all of that to impress someone, then it's not worth it. You're teaching that baby a life lesson by letting him know or letting her know that that's doing too much. If you have to put yourself in harm's way or do something dangerous or foolish to impress someone, then it is never worth it. And someone who truly cares about you isn't going to put you in a position where you have to do something that you wouldn't otherwise do or something that would put you in harm's way. Okay? And even if you don't suspect that your daughter or your son might be in this situation, you still need to talk to your kids. Talk to your kids, folks, especially when they're approaching those teen years, because there's a lot of peer pressure going on. There is a lot of pressure from social media. There's pressure from all over the place on these young people. So we need to sit them down and talk to them and make sure that they know what is right and what isn't in the eyes of God, all right, and what can harm them and what won't. And for the person that has the son who is very popular and well liked, like the young man that I saw in my dream, please speak with your son or with your daughter if you have a daughter who fits that description, and let them know that it's not all about the attention, it's not all about the popularity. If God has instilled leadership qualities in you and people are looking up to you, your peers are looking up to you, don't use that negatively. Don't use that to negatively influence them. Use that to positively influence them. So that was that message, and now I'm going to move into the other one. Before I get to that message, let me just start with the scripture that God gave me, because for this person, ultimately, this is where this is going to end up. For the people who can relate to this message that I'm about to deliver, ultimately, this is where things are going to end up. So don't worry too much about the process. Don't let the process put stress on you, because this is where it's going to end up. Okay, Psalm 65 verse 11, you crown the year with your goodness and your paths drip with abundance. So for you, for whomever this second message is for, this is where your year is going to end up, in abundance. God is going to put the crown on your head in front of all the people who were antagonizing you. Let me get into the dream and then into the message. So in this dream, there was this lady. She was in a bathroom stall at in a public restroom. Okay, so she's in a bathroom stall in a public restroom. She goes in there, to do her business and to touch up her makeup and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, all of these people had the audacity to approach the stall that she was in and try to get her to come up out of there while she was doing her business. Try to get her to come up out of there while she was touching up her makeup. Okay, they were trying to get her out of there. Like, they were saying that they wanted to use the stall and she needed to get out, and she needed to get out of the restroom altogether, is what they were saying to her. And let me tell y'all, it was all of these different people. I had the sense that there were some people in there that this woman didn't even know. So she recognized some faces, and it was some that she didn't even know. Okay? And I also had the sense that two things: her person, her significant other, the person that God chose to be her husband, was somewhere nearby waiting for her, and so was her mother. Now, whether or not the mother was waiting and that was a good thing, I don't know. I had the sense that for some of you whom this message is for, it's going to be a good thing that your mother was outside waiting for you. For some of you, it's a bad thing. And let me get into the explanation of that. So, for whomever this is for, God has spoken to you and told you that this is your marriage season. He has told you to get ready. And he's been consistently, you're going to know that this is for you because he has been consistently telling you to get ready. So it's not something that you heard yesterday only. It's not something that you heard today only. He has been telling you from time to time. He's been repeating it, get ready. And even though your circumstances do not look or may not look like it's lining up with what God is telling you, you're sure by now that God is telling you that this is your marriage season. Okay? Some of you have not met your husband yet or your wife yet, and others of you know exactly who this person is because God has already revealed it to you. Some of you have been involved with this person in some way in the past, and you are now in separation. There are some folk who are not happy about the fact that you're in your marriage season, and they don't know about it because you told them. They know about it because they've been making themselves nosy and sticking their nose in your business. Some of them have been sending monitoring spirits to overhear when you speak, when you pray, like in the privacy of your prayer closet or in the privacy of your bedroom, you pray, you're praying aloud, or you're writing things down, you're taking notes. They have sent monitoring spirits to see what is going on. If somebody was prophesying over you and they told you, they confirmed that this is your wedding season, they sent monitoring spirits to hear what was going on. These people who are antagonizing you. And what it really is that they don't want your union to come together. And what it is ultimately is that the enemy, remember guys, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So what it ultimately is that the enemy, he is the one who is attacking this union because he's so afraid of it. He's so afraid of what God is going to do in the two of you and through the two of you for the kingdom. He doesn't want that. So he is the one. This is a direct attack from the enemy himself, the ultimate enemy. And what he's doing is that anybody that allows themselves to be used as a willing vessel, he is using them. And there are some people, unfortunately, who allow themselves to be used as a willing vessel in the enemy's assignment. So there are going to be some people coming for you while you're getting ready. For some of you, it's your own family that's going to come for you. That girl's mother was waiting outside. That lady's mother was waiting outside. And I don't know if it was a good thing if the mother was waiting outside or if it was a bad thing. I sense that it was both, that for some people it's a good thing. Your mama there standing guard in the spirit, praying for you, and for others it's a bad thing. Your mother's there as a stumbling block. I'm just going to keep it all the way 100. Sometimes family don't act like family, okay? For some of you, it's extended family members. For some of you, it's so-called friends, people that you thought was your friend, right? And then for others of you, it's an ex-partner. It's your ex-partner. It's the ex-partner of your person. But whoever it is, they're allowing the enemy to use them to try to stop you. Y'all should have seen how these people were coming for this woman while she was in that stall. The woman's minding her own business, trying to touch up her makeup and do her business, and y'all coming in there like, no, absolutely not. So let me get into the scripture that God gave to me to accompany this word, okay? So the scripture comes from Psalm 37, and I am reading from the Amplified Bible because sometimes we need to hear the word all the way amplified. So I'm going to put that in the description box as well for you to read on your own time. Read the entire psalm, all right? From verse 12 to verse 17 is what I'm reading here, Psalm 37. The wicked plots against the righteous and gnashes at him with his teeth. The Lord laughs at him, the wicked, the one who oppresses the righteous, for he sees that his day of defeat is coming. The wicked have drawn the sword and bent their bow to cast down the afflicted and the needy, to slaughter those who are upright in conduct, those who with personal integrity and godly character. The sword of the ungodly will enter into his own heart, and their bow will be broken. Better is the little of the righteous who seek the will of God than the abundance of riches of many wicked or the godless. For the arms of the wicked will be broken, but the Lord upholds and sustains the righteous who seek him. So basically the Lord is saying those people that are plotting against you, it's some folk that are plotting against you, whether it's your own family, it's so-called friends, it's an ex of yours, it's an ex of your person's. Whoever is plotting against you, God has something for them. God has something for them, okay? And the thing about people that don't fear the Lord, I am afraid for folk that are out here not scared of God. I really am. Because listen, if there's a pole up ahead and you close your eyes and act like that pole isn't there, that doesn't mean that when you get to it, you're not going to run right into it. That pole is there whether you close your eyes and choose to believe that it's there or not. It's the same thing with God. For these people, whether or not they fear God or even reverence him or even imagine that he exists, he's still going to come for them. It's not going to stop the consequences that are going to come upon them for their attack against you. And the attack doesn't even have to be fruitful. It doesn't even have to be a successful attack. Just the fact that they attempted, though. God does not play about his babies. He does not play about his children. Just the fact that you made an attempt, that you allowed the thought to even run through your mind, God is going to come get you. He is going to come and get you. And you better, if you're not afraid, you better be afraid. You need to have a healthy fear of the Lord. Because when he comes for you, he comes for you. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So for whomever this is for, keep getting ready for your wedding. Don't worry about the folk coming for you. And also, when you're in public places, for some of you, when you're in public places, just make sure that you're safe. If you go anywhere, like to use a restroom in public or anywhere that you go, I'm not telling you to be watching over your shoulder all the time because God is doing that for you, but just look around and be aware of your surroundings, all right? I love you guys. I'll be back with another word as soon as the Lord releases me. Take care.